Today I'm going to talk about weight loss surgery and living on Guam. It's one of the fun topics I get to talk about sometimes, and the interesting thing, some people who have weight loss surgery, they don't like to talk about it very much for some reasons, and that's okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about it and kind of my journey a little bit and some of the things that I worked through in the process. You know, there's an old saying that nobody ever goes hungry on Guam, and it's absolutely true. Everywhere you go on Guam, there's food everywhere. People will offer you food, and people will want you to eat with them. It's kind of socially expected that people want to eat with you or offer you food. And it's hard to lose weight, and it's really hard to lose weight. And so there's some scientific literature to show that people who populated the small Micronesian islands, there's a thing called the fat gene, and that is there's a gene that they ended up developing so they could go on long open ocean voyages. And so there's a theory that maybe people who live on small islands have a genetic propensity to being obese or fat. Well, I think part of it too is social. I think we have a very large social culture here that's based on food, and so it's hard to diet. And so you take this issue about social kind of expectations for food and sharing food, because if you don't share with people, you can kind of be a little bit rude, or why don't you like my food, or you have all these dynamics going on. Well, there's another secret about living on Guam. The other secret about living on Guam is temperature. Okay, it's 85 degrees every single day. I mean, without stop. I mean, you get up in the morning. The average temperature is probably going to be around 85 degrees. You're going to go to bed, the next day it's going to be 85 degrees again. So for that reason, life on Guam feels like the same day every day. Now, I've shown some statistics up here to show various cities in the world. New York, you have seasons. The temperature goes up and down on average. San Francisco has seasons. It goes up and down on average. You have 4 seasons. Melbourne, Australia, 4 seasons. Cape Town, South Africa, 4 seasons. London, 4 seasons. On Guam, we don't have seasons that tell us that time has passed. And so days kind of get blurred together very, very quickly. The way we perceive time is different here. And that affects how we eat and how we diet also, because it's easy to lose track of time. It's easy to lose track of what we're doing, exercise and fitness and eating wise. So I first came to Guam in 1996, and by 1998 I gained some weight. I weighed like 220 pounds, not too much. I weigh like 205, 210 now. Weighed about 220 pounds. But then between 1996 and 2016, in the space of 20 years, I had went up to 310 pounds. I was pretty dang heavy. Now, I've got to tell you that at 310 pounds, I could care less. Whether I weighed 200 pounds or 310 pounds, I could care less. I could care less how I looked. I could care less what people thought of me. Weight-wise, I just didn't care. But one thing that weighing so much did affect me was health-wise. It was really hurting on my health. And that is, it got to the point where I knew I had to do something, but I didn't want to admit it. I was in denial. And here's the thing. So I decided to go, because I was having chest pains or whatever. I went to my heart doctor. And by the way, Guam, we sometimes have to go to medical care in like the Philippines or other places. So I went to my heart doctor in the Philippines, and he gave me a tough talk. He's like, you should put your affairs in order because your weight's killing you, and prepare to die, so to speak. And I don't know any other way of putting it than that. It scared me to death. And he put it in terms like, you're probably not going to be live long enough to see your daughter get married, that kind of thing. So he really put a lot of heavy-duty pressure on me. And so I decided then to look at solutions, and the solution that I found was weight loss surgery. And that's the path that I went down. And that was in 2016, early 2016. It took nearly a year to go through the insurance hoops and the preparedness hoops, because on Guam they don't offer this surgery. I had to have it done elsewhere. I had it done in Taiwan. And so I had to go through a lot of pre-checks that were pretty, not inconvenient, but they're hassles. They're normal medical bureaucratic hassles I had to go through. And so all kinds of checks, and I went to one cardiologist who, they flagged me for my heart, saying, oh, your heart's not good enough for the surgery. And the cardiologist on Guam, who was visiting at the time, who was talking to me, that was checking my health, he asked me, why am I having this checkup? And I'm like, well, I'm going to have weight loss surgery. And the first thing the doctor told me is it doesn't work. And this is a medical doctor. Yeah, weight loss surgery doesn't work. You can do better just by dieting. And and so you end up hearing opinions a lot when people talk about weight loss surgery, and you hear opinions from all kinds of people. And I have to say, the surgery that I elected, there's two basic kinds of weight loss surgery. I'm not going to go into the specific terms for them, but one type of weight loss surgery is just where they narrow and staple your stomach. They make your stomach maybe significantly less, 60%, 70% less in size, and you can lose weight. The other type of surgery is kind of where they reroute your digestive tract or your intestines a little bit, which is a little bit more radical surgery. And so the surgery that I elected was basically the one where they narrow your stomach. It's very simple, very deliberate procedure. It doesn't take very long, but it took a lot of insurance hoops to go through to get it done. The insurance company was very, very helpful, by the way, that worked with me for it. But it was mainly getting through the health checks and then working around my work schedule, because I had a block time to go off on to get the surgery. But the thing I want to mention real quickly about the surgery is, during the time I was waiting for the bureaucratic approval to get the weight loss surgery, I did what's called a pre-operation diet. And I lost, in the space of 7 months, that's how long it took me to get through all the hoops. In that 7-month time frame, I lost about 50 pounds. And so I went from like 310 down to about 260 pounds, just getting ready for the surgery, which you're supposed to do, and I didn't know that at the time, but that's the ideal way to do it. You kick off your weight loss surgery. By the time I showed up at my doctor in Taiwan, he's like, are you really sure you want to do surgery? It looks like the diet is working well for you. I'm like, no, I need the surgery. It's and so I had the surgery in December of 2016. People say obese and overweight. I'm not obese and overweight, I'm fat. And I want to be really blunt when I say that. Now, I may not look fat, or to some, I may look really fat to others, it's all a matter of perspective, but in my mind, I'm still 310 pounds. I'm not 200 pounds, because I think like a 310-pound person. I'm hungry all the time, quite often, and sometimes not, or I see food and I want it, and quite often people who are overweight or fat have food obsessions. You see, the stomach surgery that you might have, or the surgery you might have to lose weight, really isn't needed. What they need to develop one day is brain surgery for people who are overweight. And that's the reality. They need to fix your brain, your behavior. And that's the hard lesson I had to learn, but I know that without the weight loss surgery as a tool, I wouldn't have been able to lose the weight. That I just know myself. But that's the key thing, I think, is behavior. So, I have a few basic rules, and I wanted to share them with you. 3 basic rules and a little advice for doctors, medical doctors in particular. First rule I want to share with everyone, whether you're overweight or not overweight. My biggest piece of advice to everyone is throw your scale away. Stop weighing yourself every day. Unless you have to for some work reason or something, you have to weigh yourself. But in general, I found, whether I'm overweight or not overweight, my weight might vary by 5 pounds on any given day. And people become emotionally attached to the silly numbers on the scale. And the biggest piece of advice in that regard is just throw away the scale. Don't stop looking at the scale. Stop fixing your happiness to a number on a scale. That's my first thing. And when people want to get the weight loss surgery, or they get the weight loss surgery, they're obsessed with how much and how fast can I lose. It's all about this fixation that people have with the scale. So that's my first piece of advice. Just throw away the scale. My second piece of advice is one that kind of shocks people who are overweight, is if you want weight loss surgery to work, when you go and you eat until you're full, and then whatever is left, throw it away. Don't pack it up and put it in the refrigerator. Don't store food in the refrigerator. Eat exactly what you need and don't look at it anymore. Because remember, if you've had the surgery or you're thinking about this weight loss issue, what's happening is your brain is still the weight that you started at. And I found that when I store food in the refrigerator I don't eat, I'll think about it all the time. And the first moment I get, I'll go and eat it when I can. And so that when I throw it away, it's forget about it. And that shocks some people, but it works. It really works well. Same thing when I'm at a restaurant. When I'm full, I call the waiter over and that's it, I'm done. I don't care how much I've eaten. If I'm full, I'm full. People who are overweight often have obsessions with food. And if you look at the weight loss websites, people who want surgery, they constantly talk about food. They're just totally obsessed. It's really interesting. The third piece of advice I have is learn how to throw away the opinions of others. You know, especially when people are giving you advice about your health or weight loss surgery or dieting or anything else, or how you look or how you should feel, throw away those opinions. Stop listening to people. You know, I can't tell you the number of times people have told me, oh, my brother had weight loss surgery, it didn't work. My cousin had weight loss surgery, it didn't work. Well, you know, it's like those urban legends. I want to know who their brothers are. And, you know, I've even looked up people who've told me that. And I look for their family online. I'm like, no, that person didn't have weight loss surgery. No, I mean, for whatever reason, people love to tell you negatives. Or, oh, you took the easy way out. You had weight loss surgery. Oh, that's the easy way out. No, not for my health. There's no easy way out. You have to do what you have to do for your health. It's not about happiness in my regard. I was happy at 310 pounds. Health-wise, I was very ill, and so I had to have the surgery, and it helped. It helped me a lot. You know, I have some final advice. If you are considering weight loss surgery, talk to real doctors and real medical professionals. Don't talk to idiots on the internet. This world is full of idiots on the internet, and they're all over the place. They're on these weight loss websites. They give each other advice, the worst advice I've seen. I did a count study one time of one of the social media websites where people were pretending to be weight loss surgery patients. I estimated 40 to 60% of the people giving opinions on that site had never had surgery. Because I do social media investigating. No way they had surgery. They probably just looked something up on the internet and are repeating or parroting what they hear from other people to make themselves feel important or something. It drives me crazy that people will allow the internet to be more important than the advice of medical professionals. And on the point about medical professionals, the medical community needs to make up its mind about weight loss surgery and come up with some fairly consistent standards, because there is a large variance in advice various surgeons have. And I think as this surgery becomes more popular, the protocols and things like that will become more standardized. So some doctors will say, you should diet this long before the surgery, or you should not eat this or that after the surgery. They need to maybe come to more of a consensus, and that's my larger point, mainly for the doctors. And doctors, especially, the doctor told me the surgery wouldn't work, he was wrong. You know, that's the other thing. You know, doctors are not gods in coats, they're guys and gals with opinions, and a lot of time they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But if you want advice on weight loss surgery, talk to a doctor or a medical professional, somebody who's an expert in it. Thank you very much.